Welcome back to Lemmings! We're gonna continue our adventures through the taxing difficulty. So, yeah, you may remember this level as being easy when you know how. Well, in a way this level is still easy, but holy shit is the solution for it is definitely not the most intuitive part, because obviously you cannot dig around the obstacles anymore because you don't have any floaters, you don't have any builders. All that you have is just a bunch of random digging tools and a few bombers and blockers. So how are we going to get around this? Our only way of succeeding now will be to get all the way down in the hallway, which is full of invisible mashers. But yeah, we have another plan. There is one quirk with the traps in this game that we can use to our advantage in order to win here, and in fact that's like the only way in order to proceed here. So you have to gather all of your lemmings in one big concentrated pile because, yeah, it turns out that these giant crushers cannot affect more than one lemming at a time, so yeah, don't ask me how it works, but that's definitely how it works. So yeah, if you get everyone to walk down here all at once, then you're just gonna lose something like 4 or 8 lemmings, which is going to give you more than enough lemmings in order to win. Also, I never really understood the name to this level. Why is it that it is every lemming for himself? Because, yeah, it's another level where you have to send a trailblazer lemming in order to do all of the work for everyone. And yeah, the big problem this time is skills as well as time. Remember when we had this level in Tricky, we had 40 of every skill and 8 minutes? Well, do that again, but with only 3 minutes and with way less skills. Yeah, you're gonna use pretty much every single one of the skills that you have here, so you better make sure that you use everything well. Now our big problem will be to turn our lemming around, even though there's absolutely no blocker that we can assign in order for this to happen, because you only have one climber. Which is why it's kind of tense, because yeah, in order to turn him around, you have to wait until the lemming hits this little rock over here, because then you can finally build, and now you can turn back in order to bash. And afterwards, your climber will hit the blocker again so that he's gonna bounce back to the right in order to finish preparing the path for the others while you still have time. Uh-oh. I think I fucked up here because I placed my blocker way too close to the rock, so therefore I could not bash out of the entire wall properly, so let's... okay, I was kind of worried if this was gonna fuck my things up later on, but yeah, we're gonna get our answer right now. Yep, the little bit of wall that I couldn't bash through earlier still stands after all of these explosions. So, moral of the story, don't leave your blocker so close to the one-way wall, because it's gonna fuck up horribly your things. So yeah, now we shall have enough leeway, and you do still need to keep your blocker rather close because you have no time to waste. With only 3 minutes, you can't afford to dawdle at all. And considering that you have a very low supply of builders, you also need to make sure that all of your builders are gonna be perfect. It's gonna require you exactly 5 builders to get all the way there. You don't necessarily need to build it all that low, but I always get worried about the drop being too big, so this is why I'm doing it this way. So now we have to build across this big gap with only 2 builders. We're gonna barely make it, and for the last chasm, it's pretty easy to clear with only 1 builder, so everything is going on according to plan. The only thing is that we're gonna have to blow up our blocker not too late. You cannot wait until the entire route is done building because your lemmings are not gonna get to the exit in time. Yeah, even though we started building at pretty much the extremity of the rock formation, we barely made it to the rock, so you really have to build your stuff really, really well. So yeah, this level might seem really intimidating because of how big the level looks, but it ends up that about half of it is completely unused, so you should still be able to do it, but you can't afford to waste any time once again. Yep, only 9 seconds left once again. We're gonna have way much more of these close calls as we're gonna advance further on in the game. Alright, welcome to the Heart Gallery, consisting of 1,000,000 of crystals and 1,000,000 of balls. Yeah, this place has kind of balls. So yeah, it's careless clicking costs lives, but you have to save everyone and you don't have any blockers. But honestly, this is a level that doesn't play that differently from the other one. Yeah, you don't have any blocker, here we go, problem solved. The rest of the level is about the same. With that said, if you're worried about running out of builders for the last stretch of the level where you have to build toward the exit, you can just use bashers here. It's a little bit trickier, but this is taxing, so at this point you should be used to the tricky. Okay, or maybe we can still mess it up, so alright, walk fast words. I don't think that fast word is a word of the English vocabulary. But yeah, this all doesn't really play all that differently from the other one. And once that the entire path will be ready, we just need to bash through the crystal again in order to let free the 99 other lemmings. So, and overall, this is kind of an easy level. This could have been in tricky, I say. But then again, since the original level was also in tricky, I don't think it would have been a good idea to use the same level on the same difficulty level twice in a row or something, so that's probably why it's taxing. But yeah, and overall it's still not a very difficult level, so there's definitely nothing to be worried about here, and I still have no idea what you'd ever use those climbers and those floaters for. Alright, you lemmings, bounce toward victory, because that's what you're good for. I don't know what is the most unnerving between this and them just saying yippee whenever they get to the exit like they would in some versions of the game and in later game of the series. Alright, earlier you smiled if you like lemmings, now it's time for perseverance. You're pretty handicapped in the skill department and you have to save everyone this time, so it's time to dig a giant tunnel all the way to freedom. That's what we're gonna do, and we're gonna prepare a path for the others so that they're gonna bounce off and not end up in the water. And whenever you start digging your tunnel, it's important that you increase your release rate all the way up, because otherwise your lemmings might just end up splatting while falling down in the tunnel eventually. But yeah, this is like the one part of the game where it kind of gives off a bunch of no-brainer levels in a row. I mean, I don't know, maybe there was a couple of pretty difficult levels, like the prison earlier, which was really tricky. But yeah, so far it's kind of a respite portion in taxing, nothing too difficult here. Oh, it's time for the Izzie... What the hell is Hey Wheezy anyway? What the hell does that even mean? Yep, it's time for the good old lemmingology, with all of the lemmings that have to be saved, and with no floaters this time around, or climbers in order to have a trailblazer lemming. But don't worry, it's still really easy to have a trailblazer lemming prepare the path for everyone ahead, because yeah, we're just going to build a staircase at the top of this thing, and yeah, it's not even close, they're all gonna fall down the pit even though it's the first one. So yeah, this lemming will have the honor of clearing the path for everyone. The only thing that you have to pay close attention to is this one bridge that I'm building here, because if your lemming end up colliding against the wall as he builds, you might be in a little trouble, but with that said, it's still pretty easy to salvage yourself. You just have to build back on your previous ramp, and then you turn back around in order to be able to continue the journey. So in the original level, we had to float down here, but since that's no longer a possibility, yeah, you just need to dig all the way down here. We have a big enough slant so that now everybody's gonna land here safely. And since we have so much time, yeah, we can take our time in freeing everyone. We're just going to do it whenever the bridge will be under construction. So yeah, all in all, that's yet another easy level. With that said, well, I guess that they're easy because It's like the third level in a row, which requires us to save everyone, which is kind of a first in the game. But yeah, so far these levels have not been very difficult. Oh, me and my mouth. Oh, fuck. Okay, this level, however, is a huge pain. Yeah, it's the fourth level in a row where you have to save all of the lemmings, and it's by far the hardest one of the bunch. Just because, well, for the most part, let's have a quick look at everything. Yeah, in order to turn around everybody, you're gonna need to dig down a tunnel like this. But yeah, you also need to have a climber in order to climb out of here in order to be able to prepare the path for everyone. And if you don't have a version of the game where you can assign skills based on the directions at which the lemming go, usually this is what happens. So yeah, that did not go too well. The ideal way would just be to do like extreme multitasking. You assign a climber to that one lemming as soon as he gets out of the hatch, then you dig and you build and everything. But yeah, you can also assign directional skills. So here's the hard part of this level. You have to build up toward the pillars, but if at any time you end up colliding against a pillar and turn back, the level is over. You're gonna fail because there's no way to turn the lemming around, or... Okay, I guess there is, but it's gonna make you lose some time, and it really will be annoying because, yeah, you're gonna heavily complicate the level to yourself because you're gonna have way more ramps in order to build this way. Because remember, here you have to get the lemmings to walk toward the right, and whenever you end up digging in order to turn your lemming around, that makes it so that the left portion will be unclimbable, so it's gonna be tricky. Also, you have to pay close attention because the height differences between each pillar is not the same, so you have to pay a close look. Some ramps you may afford to build whenever you're really close to them, some others you have to be much further away. If you want to err on the safe side or whatever, you could just start building at the middle of the pillar and then use 2 builders per pillar because you have enough pillars in order to be able to do that, but other than that, you have to be careful. This is a level that's pretty easy to fuck up, and in versions of the game where you don't have action replay or whatever, this level can get frustrating really fast. With that said, apart from all of these extra precautions, the level for the most part plays the same. It's the same exact solution where you just dig down the pillar like that and then you build and everything, so there's nothing much different here, but it's just that the building part can be a little bit more stressful and then you have to build out... Oh, you mother... Ah, my god. I mean, even when you build toward the right, this is still the kind of thing that end up happening. Why? This is so bad. Alright, let's do this again. Hopefully it's gonna work. No, it's the same exact problem again. Am I condemned to live my nightmares perpetually? Now it's just like that freaking documentary again. I'm just killing all my lemmings on purpose. Okay, here we go. Everybody's heading in the right direction. Now we can finally put this level behind us. Okay, this level ended up being a little bit more trouble than I expected, but in the end we still prevailed. You're living on the razor's edge, and you're gonna do things every day. Woohoo! Also, that one ornament onto the left kind of looks like a giant bowling pin. Not sure why. So yeah, living on the edge. This level is called this way because, yeah, you have to live on the edge indeed. That's a level where the main difficulty is that you have to start building your bridges at the edge of most of your platforms because otherwise you're just gonna end up falling one brick short. With that said, however, you still have like 10 builders, and considering the fact that you have 6 gaps to build through, that means that you only need to successfully build over 2 of these with only 1 builder in order to succeed. And since you have 2 blockers to keep everyone at bay at the beginning of the level, that's like the 2 casualties you can afford for this one level. Yeah, it's a pretty easy level. You could get like 100% if you dug a hole in the ground or something. Considering that the release rate is only 1, you probably will be able to do that. But since you may end up having builders on a very short supply, this plan might actually backfire against you. I'm making this look easy, and maybe it is, but yeah, you just need to have a pretty good clicker trigger or something in order to be able to make this work. And you have more than enough time, so for the most part, this level is not very easy. Hard. Okay. This video just got pretty much all over the map. A bunch of the levels in here have been really simple like this one, and levels like 7 and the Ascending Pillar scenario were actually pretty damn hard, so who knows where taxing is going. But yeah, for the time being, we're gonna stop here because there's a couple of lengthy levels lying ahead of us, so it's the time to take a break. So, coming up next, yeah, we have a pretty interesting looking level here. Are you ready to brave the upside down world? Well, see you in the next video.